Alright, today we are going to be solving perimeter and area of several different two-dimensional figures. First we're going to look at the formulas for perimeter and area for triangles, squares, rectangles, and circles, and then we're going to actually circumference and area for a circle, and then we're going to apply those. So here we go. Perimeter for a triangle, we're going to do B plus C plus D. So basically you just add up all three sides. Alright, in the area of a triangle formula you can write it two different ways. You could write it either as base times height over 2, or you could write it as 1/2 base times height. Either way works, that means the same thing. Sometimes it's to your advantage to do one way or the other. Alright, perimeter of a square, add up all the sides, otherwise it's repeated addition of side plus side plus side plus side, so in other words 4s, 4 times the sides. And the area of a square is side times side, or side squared. Alright, perimeter of a rectangle, we're going to do length, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. We're adding up all the sides, there's 2 lengths and there's 2 widths. And of course area of a rectangle is length times width. Alright, and here we get to the fun part, circumference of a circle. We can find that two ways. We could either do pi times the diameter, or you can do 2 times pi times the radius. Now remember, 2 times the radius is the same thing as the diameter, so that's why those are interchangeable. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So that is our formulas that we're going to use. So make sure you write those down and memorize those. Those are going to be very important that you're able to just recall without any help. You will not have those given to you ever for a quiz or a test, so make sure you have those at your disposal from your memory. Alright, so now let's look at how to use these. Find the area and perimeter of a square. Area of a square is side squared, so 3.3 squared. So we're going to use a calculator. I have a scientific calculator that I'm going to be using. If I can get it to pull up here. So 3.3 times 3.3, and that equals 10.89. So 10.89 square kilometers. We want to make sure we put a squared on the unit. If we don't have the squared on the unit, then it's not area. Next thing we're going to do is perimeter, and perimeter is 4 times the side length, so that's 4 times 3.3. So 4 times 3.3, and that is 13.2. And that's going to be just straight linear kilometers. All right. Next we got a rectangle here. You can tell it's a rectangle because the two sides are different lengths, but it does have 4 right angles for the corners. So length times width is how we find the area of a rectangle. So the rectangle's length is 7, the width is 4.9, so 7 times 4.9, and we get 34.3. We want to label that square feet. And then perimeter is going to be 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So that's going to be 2 times 7 plus 2 times 4.9. 2 times 7 is 14. 4.9 times 2 is 9.8. So it's going to be 23.8 is our perimeter, 23.8 feet. Alright, so next we have a picture of a serving platter. And we want to model that using a two-dimensional model. Well, I can see that each side of the serving platter is 12.5 inches. So we're actually just going to draw a square. So we're going to label that it's a square. We label it a square by having 4 right angles, and each side is congruent. So we show that with the tick marks. and one side is 12.5 inches. And because one side is 12 inches and we have all the tick marks around, that means all sides are 12.5 inches. So now to find the perimeter, that's going to be 4 times 12.5, which is going to be 50 square inches. And the area is going to be 12.5 squared. So that 12.5 squared is 156.25. And that's going to be inches. So this should be linear inches on the perimeter, square inches on the area. All right, next we're going to have another a two-dimensional model for this frame, picture frame. And to me, with one side is 61 and the other side is 40.6, that means it's a rectangle. So again, we have 4 right angles, but we're going to have 2 different side lengths. And we model that with 2 different types of tick marks, one with a single tick mark and one with a double tick mark. The single tick mark is 61 centimeters. The double tick mark is 40.6 centimeters. So now, perimeter, we can do 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So 2 times 61 plus 2 times 40.6. 2 times 61 is 122. 2 times 40.6 is 81.2. And we add those together, and we get 203.2 centimeters. And that's the perimeter of this picture frame. Now the area is going to be length times width. So that's going to be 61 times 40.6. So 61 times 40.6. So that's 2,476.6 square centimeters. All right. So now we're going to be able to use these formulas to work forwards and backwards. So sometimes we are given just dimensions and we need to find area and perimeter. Sometimes we're given a perimeter and we need to find area from that. Now I know that the perimeter formula for a square is 4s. And if I know the perimeter is 96 feet, I can substitute that in for p. So 96 equals 4s. So divide both sides by 4. And I get that each side is 24 feet. But that's not the question it's asking. It doesn't need the side length. I need the area. So the area of a square formula is sides squared. So now I can substitute in for s, which I know, 24 squared. So 24 squared is 576. And that's going to be 576 square feet. All right, next we'll do the length of a rectangle whose area is 124 square millimeters. And width is 4 millimeters. We're going to find the length. So remember, area of a rectangle is length times width. So we can substitute in what we know. We know that it is 124, and we know its width is 4. So we do 124 equals 4L. Now we just need to divide both sides by 4, and we get that the length is 31 millimeters. All right, now if a square has an area of 121 square meters, what's its perimeter? So area is going to be sides squared. So if 121 equals sides squared, well, I want to get side by itself, so I need to take the square root of both sides, and the square root of 121 is 11. So each side is 11, and so therefore the perimeter is 4 times the sides, So perimeter is 4 times 11. So the perimeter, therefore, would be 44 meters. All right, next we need the area of these triangles. Area is base times height over 2, or 1/2 base times height. So area is 8 times 5.6 over 2. So 8 times 5.6, and we get 44.8 over 2. So we divide that by 2, and we get 22.4. And that's going to be square meters. Next we have a right triangle. The height is 3, the base is 4. So 4 times 3 over 2. So that's going to be 12 over 2. So that's going to be 6 square miles. All right, now we're looking for perimeter and area. Perimeter, remember, we add up all the sides. So we have 11. Oh, I want a plus sign there. I want an equal sign. Perimeter is equal to 11 plus 13 plus 14. So that's going to be 38. And then area, again, area of a triangle is base times height over 2. So that's going to be 14 times 10 over 2. So that's 140 over 2. So the area then is 70 square inches. All right, last triangle here. Perimeter, again, we just do 10 plus 12 plus 20. So that all adds up to 42 meters. And the area is base 12 times height 10 over 2. So that is 120 over 2. So that is 60 square meters. So now we're going to look at circumference and area of a circle. So to find the circumference of a circle, you got two options. You can do pi times the diameter, or 2 pi r. So this one, since we have the radius given to us, the 6 meters, we're going to do 2 pi r. So we're just going to replace the r with what we know it to be, which is 6. And 2 times 6 is 12. So 12 pi meters is our circumference. And we're going to leave it just like that. We're not going to abbreviate pi as 3.14 or anything like that. We're going to leave pi as pi. The next thing we're going to do is find the area. Area of a circle is pi r squared. So we square the radius. So that's going to be 6 squared. So our area is going to be 36 pi meters squared. Okay, next we have a circle with a diameter of 14 feet. So again, we can do pi times diameter. So it's going to be 14 pi, and that's going to be our final answer. 14 pi feet is our circumference. Our area still is 2 pi r, or sorry, not 2 pi r, that's circumference, pi r squared. So we need to find the radius. The radius is going to be half of the diameter. So radius is equal to 1/2 of the diameter. So if we don't have a radius given to us, we need to do 1/2 of 14. And half of 14 is 7. So we can plug in 7 pi times 7 squared. So that is 49 pi feet squared. Alright, so circumference with a diameter of 18 yards is going to be 18 pi yards. And then the area is going to be pi times the radius, so half of 18 is 9 squared. So it's going to be 81 pi yards square is our area. Alright, that's it for today's lesson. If you have any questions, please shoot me an email or a Canvas message, and I'll talk to you soon.